started. Hello, my name is Megan. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get started. So find yourself on your yoga mat, and if you'd like any props, pillows, yoga blocks, or anything like that, go ahead and grab them. Any comfortable seated position will work. So however you feel comfortable and at ease, go ahead and take that seated position. I like sitting cross-legged, shoulders nice and relaxed, and if you'd like, gently start to close your eyes. And perhaps this is one of the first moments throughout the day that you have sort of settled down and really taken the time to just kind of shut off a bit. So feeling your sit bones on the mat, allow that to be the grounding. So pressing down through the mat, engaging the core slightly, and allowing the spine to lengthen up towards the ceiling. Your fingertips just gently relaxed on your knees. Allow the muscles of the face to relax and soften. And we'll begin to breathe. So just using any breath that feels good. Let's take an inhale through the nose. And then a really cleansing exhale out through the mouth. So not really forcing any sort of breath. Doing it one more time. Full breath in through the nose. And full exhale out through the mouth. And then just finding any sort of breath that feels comfortable and easy for you. And just noticing here, so go ahead and take a full body scan. Notice how your body's feeling, how your energy's feeling, and just how you're doing emotionally and mentally, and just kind of check in with yourself and see where you're at. Noticing any areas of tension throughout your body. And again, just observing there. And as we sit here, let's take some movements from side to side, maybe moving in a circle, and maybe you kind of let your heart lead the way, and the torso moves in a circular position. And then either staying on one side or staying in a spot that might feel juicy and good, and changing the directions to see how that feels. And then bringing your way back towards center. Take your hands and start to just walk them out in front of you just a bit. And again, see if you can kind of keep a flat back here and let the heart lead the way. So if this is as far as you can go, this is perfect and fine. If it feels all right, you can drop your forearms down on the ground. Maybe beginning to feel sort of a stretch through your back and spine. And then notice if you can drop the head and neck a bit, just so the back of the neck feels neutral. So we're just keeping it protected and safe. And notice if you can melt through the shoulders on an exhale. And then use your hands and press your way back up to center. Let's take a full deep breath in. So big inhale, reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale as you twist over towards the right. Drop your right hand on the floor behind you and bring your left hand to your right knee. And just like how we started, the spine is lengthening up towards the ceiling. Hug your belly button towards your spine a bit. And then notice where your gaze is at. And if you'd like to explore a bit more, start walking your gaze over that to your right shoulder. On the exhale, sort of just softening a bit and twisting a bit deeper if that feels okay. On your next exhale, float back through center. Inhale, reach your arms up. To the other side, exhale and twist. So there's no rush here. And the grip is really gentle through your fingertips. Stay for a couple more breaths. Notice on the exhale if you can bring any more length through the spine. And then on the exhale, if you can twist a bit deeper. And next exhale, come back through center. Place your right hand down on the mat. Inhale, reach your left arm to the ceiling. And as you exhale, reach over towards your right. Really ground down through this right hand. If you'd like, dropping your right forearm to the mat. And so this can be either an active stretch or more of a relaxing one. So with the active one, you're spreading your left fingertips nice and wide, and you're really feeling a stretch through this left side body. Exhale, press back up towards center. Sitting up nice and tall. Go ahead and place your left hand down on the mat. Inhale, reach the right arm up towards your ceiling. Exhale, reach over to your left. And here you get to decide how deep you'd like to take this stretch. So opportunity to drop your left forearm to the floor and really reach through your right fingertips. So the whole right side of your body here should be feeling a nice stretch from the hip, the ribs, the armpit area, through the arm and out through the right fingertips. And exhale, press your way back up. Kick your legs out long so that they're in front of you. Before we move from here, just allow the upper body to really lengthen up so the top of the head is reaching up towards the ceiling, and relax the shoulders. So the feet are flexed towards your face. Go ahead and reach your arms up as you inhale. And on the exhale, reach for your feet or reach towards them. And again, as you move through, kind of finding a way to do it gracefully. And if the hands aren't reaching the feet or you don't feel like stretching that way today, you can put your hands just right on the floor. And if this feels too much, just bring a bend under your knees here. Allowing the head and neck to hang heavy. Lift yourself back up. Bend your right knee, putting your right foot on the floor, so hugging the right leg in. Take your left arm, wrap it around your right knee, and just take your right hand and put the right hand slightly behind you. We're just going to twist like we did at the beginning. Again, belly button tugging in towards the spine, and if it feels okay, gazing over your right shoulder. And on your next exhale, come back through center. Both legs out nice and long, maybe shake them out here. Bend your left knee, left foot on the floor, hug that knee in. Before we go anywhere from here, kind of adjust yourself. So feel your left foot on the floor, flex your right foot, hug the belly button in towards the spine. Drop your left hand back on the floor for some support. Hug with the right arm. And on your exhale, feel a nice twist. Collarbone is nice and wide as you twist and begin to look over your left shoulder. Exhale, come back to center. Extend that left leg out nice and long so they're both extended here. And now bend your knees, bring the soles of the feet together. So come into a seated butterfly. So this might feel a nice stretch on the hips. You can always use blocks to prop under the knees, but if this is feeling okay, go ahead, sit up nice and tall. You can use your elbows against your inner thighs, and on an exhale, start to lean forward. And if you feel your shoulders starting to hunch up towards your ears, just gently allow them to melt down your back. And start to lift your way back up. Keep the knees bent, but put your feet on the floor, about hips width distance apart, and place your hands behind you. And let the knees drop from side to side. And then, of course, always an opportunity to link it with breath. So maybe as you inhale, the knees come back through center. And as you exhale, they drop to one side. And then when you feel good with that, let's go into child's pose. So bringing your knees to the edges of your mat, really settling down. So let your hands start to creep forward, sink and press the hips back towards the heels, and let the center of your heart begin to drop down towards the mat. Really soften here so the shoulders are opening and stretching. Spread your fingertips nice and wide. They're about hips width distance apart, the hands. Press into the finger pads. Engage through your arms. Lengthen through your spine and feel the hips sink down towards your heels. Just gently allowing your forehead to rest on the mat. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. After your 3rd, press up to your tabletop position. So coming into tabletop from child's pose, we want to adjust the knees. So the knees are now coming in a bit closer towards one another, hips width distance, and then same with the hands, about hips width distance apart. Here the belly button's hugging towards the spine, and we're working on our back being flat and keeping your gaze right between the 2 hands. And just like your child's pose, fingertips are spread nice and wide. We'll come into cat-cow from here. So as you breathe in, come into your cow pose. So the belly button drops and the spine sort of arches here. And if it feels right on the neck, the gaze begins to walk up to the ceiling. And on your exhale, round your spine. Tuck your chin and maybe gaze between your 2 knees. And keep moving like that. As you inhale, drop into your cow pose. And as you exhale, cat pose. And a few more times like that with breath. Coming back to a neutral tabletop. Soften through your elbows and gently start to move around here. So as you stay soft through the elbows, soft through the fingertips, maybe you're letting kind of the hips lead the way. And then bringing it right back to your tabletop. Begin to slide your right foot forward between your 2 hands. So we'll come into a low lunge position with a hand on either side of the right foot. Your right toe should be facing directly forward. If it feels okay, bring both hands to the top of your right knee. On an exhale, sinking into the hips. And then if you'd like, press your hands into the top of this right knee and feel an arch happening through your spine, and the gaze walks up. And then kind of hinging forward, we'll focus on the spine now lengthening up towards the ceiling. So engage your core, hug the belly button towards your spine, and relax your shoulders. And notice this left knee pressing down on the mat and this right foot. So really feeling grounded and connecting to the mat there. You can leave your hands on top of your right knee if it feels okay. Reaching your arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing one another. And even if you want, maybe bringing your hands to touch. Another breath in. And as you exhale, drop your hands down. So a hand on either side of the foot. Leave your left hand down and inhale, twist and reach your right arm to the ceiling. And exhale, lower down. Right hand down on the mat. Inhale, twist and reach your left arm up high. Feel that nice stretch through the side body. On your exhale, drop it down and to the other side. Inhale, reach up. Keep you gaze up at that right hand. Exhale, lower down. And inhale, reach the left arm up. And exhale, lower down. Tuck your back toes under and shift back to your runner stretch. Beginning to drop your upper body over your right leg and flex your right toes towards the face to feel a deeper stretch through the back of your right leg. Awesome. Begin to bend through your right knee and bring your right foot to the floor. Both hands down on the ground. We'll lift the hips up. Step this back foot up and out slightly. And goal here, working on straightening through the legs, folding your torso over the right thigh. Maybe feeling a stretch through the right hamstring. And again, feel the connection through the feet, so we want to be really grounded in our foundation. Another deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. On the exhale, step forward to a forward fold. So keeping your feet about hips width distance apart and parallel. Soft bend through your knees and just fold forward. Press to the feet, inhale and lift halfway. And exhale, fold forward. And two more times like that. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Put your hands on the floor and take a nice step back. We'll come into downward facing dog. Feet are about hips width distance apart. Start with bent knees here and engage through your arms. Send your chest back towards your thighs. Heels are lifted up and away from the mat. Feel the opening happening through your shoulders. And just like in our child's pose, we're really grounding down through our finger pads. On an exhale, go ahead and sink your heels a bit closer down towards the mat if you can. Take another deep breath in. On your exhale, drop your knees down and come back into that tabletop position. Any little movements you'd like to take here. And then when you're ready, slide the left foot forward between your two hands. So grounding down through that left foot. Engaging the core here as we kind of start to lift up. Gently placing both hands on top of your left knee, if that feels all right. And just gazing straight ahead. So you always have the option to stay if something is kind of feeling painful. So you have the option to stay here. If you'd like to press your hands into the top of the left knee, start to arch your back and look up. Let the shoulders melt down the back if you notice them starting to hunch up. And then start to shift forward a bit. So now the spine, nice and tall, top of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. Staying while reaching your arms up, biceps by the ears, with your palms facing one another. On an exhale, soften and melt your shoulders. Option to bring palms to touch. Breathing and keeping a soft gaze as you look forward. And then on the next exhale, go ahead and drop your arms back down. We'll come into that same position. Leave your right hand down on the ground and inhale, twist and reach your left arm to the ceiling. Relax through your hips. Exhale, drop and lower it down. To the other side, inhale, twist and reach up. Really extend and reach through your fingertips. And exhale, let it go. And do each side one more time. And again, just noticing where the stretch might feel good, any sort of sensations where things feel like they're opening up. Finding your way back down to that low lunge. Tuck your back toes under and shift your hips back. We'll come into our runner's stretch. Soften a bit through the belly and start to fold the chest over the your left thigh. And bending through the left knee, bring the left foot to the floor. We're gonna lift the hips up, work on straightening through both legs, but step this right foot up and out slightly. So the right foot is kind of angled here, the right toes facing at the top right-hand corner of the mat. If you notice yourself sort of folding into this open space here on your right, see if you can bend the knees a bit, really press into the feet and almost shift the hips in your belly so you're beginning to fold more over the left thigh, and you might feel that more through your left hamstring. And if it feels okay, begin straightening through the knees a bit more. One more big breath in. And exhale, step this right foot forward. We'll come into a forward fold. Soften through your knees and fold through your upper body. Inhale as you press into the feet, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Place your hands down on the mat, step back to downward facing dog. And adjust here as needed, so find the right distance here between your hands and your feet, and by right distance I mean whatever one feels good for you and is comfortable for you. So depending on your height and your flexibility, everyone's downward facing dog might look different. So let's stay and breathe. If you're feeling like you want a deeper stretch, maybe you start straightening through the knees a bit more, sinking the heels down towards the mat and pressing your chest back towards your thighs. A modification here would be dolphin pose, so just dropping your forearms down to the ground. And from here, slowly start walking your feet forward to the top of your mat. So ease here again. So easy through the elbows, easy through the knees. And okay, forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Let your heart pull forward. Work on the spine and back being flat. Exhale and fold. Press through the feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Big inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Press through the feet, maybe lean back. Palms together to touch. Exhale, hands at heart center. So let's take this moment to feel really grounded, secure, and strong. Your feet are parallel. Soft bend through the knees. Feel the kneecaps kind of lifting up almost. Feel the core active. Sternum is lifting. Your shoulders are melted down the back. Let's take a full deep breath. Long inhale through the nose. Full exhale out through the mouth. Release the hands down by your sides. Big inhale, reach your arms up. In, exhale as you fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, press through the feet, rise up. Bring the arms up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, bring the hands to heart center. So working our way through some half sun salutations. Let's do 2 more and then we'll move forward into sun salutation A. Press through the feet, ground down. Big inhale, reach your arms up to the ceiling. Big exhale, slowly fold forward, bend your knees. Inhale as you lift halfway. And exhale as you fold. Inhale, press through the feet, stand up. Arms reach up to the ceiling, palms together. Exhale, hands at the heart. And again, one more time. Press through the feet, inhale, arms reach up. Big exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, bring the hands to the shins. Gently press and let the heart pull forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise back up. Bringing your hands up towards the ceiling. And exhaling, hands to heart center. We'll move into our sun salutation A. So feel the feet, feel grounded, feel active through the legs. Top of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale as you lift halfway. Exhale, hands down, step back, high plank. With high plank, there's always the option to drop the knees. Your fingertips are spread nice and wide, shoulders right over the wrists. Keep the gaze between the 2 hands, take a breath in. And exhale, lower down, squeezing your elbows in towards the ribs. Flip onto the tops of your feet. Keep the arms bent with your elbows squeezing in. Inhale to your cobra pose. So we're pressing in through the hands, the hips, and the tops of the feet. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Maybe tucking the toes, pressing up to a little tabletop, and then pressing the hips up towards the ceiling. Yeah, maybe bending the knees here. Nice breath in. And big exhale out. Look towards your hands and start walking your feet forward. Come into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale as you fold. Press through the feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And again, press through the feet. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale as you lift halfway. Exhale, high plank. Option to drop the knees. Hug the belly button in towards the spine. Use the core. And on your exhale, lower down. Flip onto the tops of your feet. Inhale to your cobra pose or upward facing dog. Shoulders are wrapping at your spine. The collarbone is nice and wide. And tuck your toes. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we'll come into warrior one. Step your right foot forward between the two hands. You want to put this left foot flat on the floor. Right knee is bent with the knee right over your ankle and the right toes facing forward. Working on this back leg being straight. For balancing purposes, have some space between the two feet here so they don't need to be, it doesn't have to be heel to heel alignment. And so notice if your hips are really opening towards the left. If they are, bend a bit out of the right knee and press into this back foot and kind of shimmy this left hip forward and almost even with the right. And then once you're there, if it feels okay, start to sink through the right knee so we've got our hips squared forward. Maybe the hands are resting on the hips here as you build your foundation. All right. You can stay here if it feels good. Start to reach your hands up towards the ceiling. Again, biceps by the ears with your palms facing one another. Feeling your feet, maybe bringing your palms together to touch. And for a little bit of a deeper stretch, maybe bringing your gaze up towards the ceiling, really bending into your front right leg. Another breath in. And exhale, lower down. So bring a hand on either side of the right foot. Come onto the ball of the back foot and step back, downward facing dog. Awesome. Setting up for the other side. Left foot steps forward, warrior one. Spin your back foot down, heel on the floor. Working on a straight back leg. Pressing through your feet and let the upper body lift up. Hands maybe starting on your hips. So if you're noticing your body opening here towards the open space towards the right, bend a bit out of the front leg. Press into this back right foot, and as you do it, kind of shimmies this right hip forward a bit. And then melting and sinking a bit deeper into your front leg. Really pressing down through both of your feet. And reaching your arms up towards the ceiling. So as we reach up, the arms are engaged. We're really spreading through our fingertips. And hopefully you feel firm in your foundation. Feel this back leg nice and engaged. And then you either stay here if you'd like, drop into this front leg a bit deeper. Maybe palms come together to touch. Beginning to arch through the back, walk the gaze up towards the ceiling. Another inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down, dropping a hand on either side of the foot and stepping back, downward facing dog. Let your head go. From your downward facing dog, let's roll out to a high plank. So in our high plank, the backs of the knees are lifting up towards the ceiling. We're really strong through the core. And let's shift into a side plank. So leave your right hand down on the mat, shift onto the edges of your feet, engage through the core. Hips stay lifted. You can always drop your bottom knee here. Reaching your top arm towards the ceiling and breathing. Next, exhale. Shift your way back to a high plank. Power up through the core and the arm, and let's take side plank on the left. So left hand stays down on the mat. I like flexing my feet in side plank. It helps me stay active through my legs. And if you'd like, right arm reaching to the ceiling. As you exhale, bring that right hand back down, come into your high plank. Drop your knees down. Start to bend through your elbows and sink your hips down. A nice exhale too. And from here, press back to your child's pose. Start to separate just a little bit through your knees and drop your hips to your heels. And finding your way back to your downward facing dog. From down dog, shift back out towards that high plank. And we're going to slowly lower down to a low plank. So let's make sure our setup is good here. Wrists right under the shoulders, gaze between the two hands. And on your exhale, start to bend your elbows, let them hug in towards your ribs and lower down. Once you get all the way down, rest your right cheek on the mat. Come onto the tops of your feet. Arms are back by your side, palms face down. We'll come into our locust pose. So bring either your chin or forehead to the center of the mat. And we're going to start to lift our upper body. So on an inhale, press into your feet, press into your hips, and maybe we just start by lifting the chest here. So if you can, just gaze a few inches in front of you. If this feels okay, start to lift your arms and your fingertips come off your mat. Next, exhale, lower down, rest your left cheek down on the mat. And let your shoulders kind of melt down to the mat too. And then setting up once again, so turn your chin or forehead to the center of the mat. When we come into this locust pose, we want to be hugging everything in towards the midline, so it's like there's a zipper at your big toes, and we want to zip up. So on the inhale, go ahead and lift up. You can start with the chest, going on to the arms and hands, and then even the legs and the feet. So kind of just pressing down through the hip bones. Spread the fingers, spread the toes. And exhale, lower down. Rest your right cheek on the mat. From here, come into a T position with your arms. So right and left arm are reaching out towards your sides. Bend your knees and let the feet rock from side to side. So like windshield wiper feet, you can either rest your right cheek on the mat, your left cheek on the mat, have your chin on the mat, whatever's comfortable. And then letting your feet drop back down. Bring your arms back in towards center. Bend your elbows. We're going to shift into a cobra pose or upward facing dog. So flip onto the tops of your feet. Ground down through your fingers. And take a breath in and feel the front of the body open up. So either a cobra pose or pressing all the way up to an upward facing dog. In upward facing dog, you're letting the hips sort of slide forward. Stay soft through the elbows. On your exhale, downward facing dog. This will be the last down dog. Check out the heels, see if you can sort of challenge yourself anymore by sinking them down a bit closer towards the mat. And begin to walk your feet up towards your hands. And when you get to the top, start to bend your knees and sit down. Let's drop back into a seated forward fold, just like how we started. So legs are nice and long on the floor, feet are flexed. And before we go anywhere, open up the front of the body, so relax the shoulders, kind of feel them wrapping around your spine. Belly button hugs back towards the spine. Take an inhale. If you want, reach the arms up. And exhale, reach for the feet. Gently lift back up. Place your hands on your mat behind you. Bend your knees and bring your feet to the floor. We'll come into Pigeon Pose, so you can always take this laying down on your back, but if you'd like to take it seated, grab your right leg and right ankle over the left knee. So even here, softening through the elbows. Press through the hands as you inhale. Go ahead and lift the heart up just a bit. And then exhale, relax. Maybe while you're here, you can take your right ear to your right shoulder. Kind of feel around through the neck, left ear, left shoulder. And maybe just dropping the neck right in the middle, so hugging your chin to the chest. And when you feel satisfied, just switch your side. So bending the elbows and letting that right knee drop back down and switching your sides. For a deeper stretch, bring your hands, glutes, and right heel all closer towards one another if you want to go a bit deeper. And again, maybe press through the hands. Inhale, lift your heart up. And exhale, soften. Okay, on your next exhale, find your way out of that pose. Bring your feet and legs long on the mat and begin to lower down. Take a spinal twist to close off the practice. So you can either hug your right knee into the right shoulder, twist it over the left leg, or if you'd like, bend the knees again and cross the right leg over the left, and then let the legs drop over towards the left. You can bring your gaze over towards your right hand and arm. Maybe it's extending out towards the side. And shift your way back towards center. Any little reset pose you might want to take, squeezing the knees in. And taking it to the other side. Hugging that left leg in, bringing it up and over towards the right, crossing your left leg over the right. Softening on an exhale, both shoulders working their way down towards the mat. And then find your way back towards center. Squeeze both knees into your chest, press the low back down into the mat. And exhale, come into your final resting pose. So any sort of comfortable position you can land in, free of distraction, for about a minute or so. So let the mat hold you here. Bring your arms wherever they're comfortable. And really give yourself kind of the gift of no distraction. So if this was going to be your last resting pose ever, allow yourself to let go. And I invite you to take a long inhale through the nose. And then part the lips open slightly for a long exhale out. Taking some gentle movements, squeezing your knees in towards your chest. Finding your way up to a comfortable seated position. And maybe just taking this moment to say something to yourself that you're grateful for, something that you're thankful for. Grateful for your practice, grateful for mindful movement, and maybe sealing off with an intention to carry with you for the rest of the night this sense of ease and peace that you have created. Inhale, reaching the arms up towards the ceiling, bringing your palms together, and exhaling them towards heart center. Relaxing your shoulders, another deep breath in. And a full exhale out. Namaste. Thank you for practicing and joining. Ever have any questions, let me know. I'll teach every Mondays at 6 p.m.